sharing them about actually my sermon today is what I shared with them. And so I'll let you know soon enough. And on Wednesday night, they also met with Lisa and David, and they heard about their CARP experience, what it was like upholding their faith in college. And then and then later that evening, the young adult ministry hosted a volleyball and barbecue out at the park near the Park of Roses. I forgot what it was called. At Park of Roses? Yeah. Beautiful place. It was my first time going there. With food, with volleyball, sports, and Hiro, thank you, Hiromitsu, for cooking. And then, of course, on Thursday morning, they had time with Mr. Takenaka and Asako-san to learn about the Yokoso Center and the whole Japan marketplace, and being able to inherit Takenaka-san's spirit of ever since he came to America back in 1972, and really being able to champion father's dream and vision. And many of them are interested in business, and so it was very meaningful and precious time for them. And of course, Asako-san really splurged them with lunch and Bell's Bread bakery goods. And then later that evening, Precious gave a little spiel and her testimony about investing into social media and fashion. And so now, of course, this Generation Z and younger, they're all about social media. And so whether they're interested in doing social media or not, they're on social media. So it was a very informative and very helpful experience for them to be able to hear from Precious. And as it turns out, it was actually a surprise for me as I walked into the building this morning. The Next Gen Missions group left a thank you card for all of Ohio Family Church. I know you can't read this because it's really small print, but I believe all 20 or majority of them have written a little note for our community. So please take some time to read it. Just for now's sake, I'm just going to put it over here. I think I would like to put this on a better place, more public space, so everyone can read it. But yeah, after service, please take some time to just read what people wrote. And regardless of whether you were able to meet these NGMs or not, missionaries or not, it was a community offering. It was a community effort. And all the devotion that you prepared here in all the various ways and forms were able to come to fruition in being able to serve these Next Gen missions. So please give yourselves a round of applause. They felt very fortunate and lucky that they were able to come to Ohio Family Church. And only just recently, not many missionaries were able to come through our community. But now that through the previous Next Gen Mission group, and now that we also have Bohwan, our missionary, and these 20 missionaries come and go, Ohio's on the map, everybody. They know we are a thriving community, and they want to send 2 more missionaries until the February or January of next year. They're coming in beginning of, or mid-August. Yeah, they'll be coming soon. Yes, and I'll introduce them once they arrive. Okay, so that's all for this week. Should I give a sermon? Actually, yes. I feel like there's something very important and pertinent that I want to share, but I just need to take a moment to take a deep breath. If you can let me do that. Yeah, so this message, a reason why I'm kind of nervous is because it's something that I've inherited that I'm trying to make it my own, or I have made it my own, but it's very new and recent. And so that's why I'm worried that if I'm going to be able to convey it well or not. But So for context, this is a message that I heard from President Damian Dunkley just this past Monday. For those of you who are aware or not, there is every Monday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there is a continental call that both includes Canada and the United States. And oftentimes, what happens in those calls are various communities across the United States are just reporting about their past weekly activities, and the MC, Tal Zor, she usually selects which communities to highlight, and so that's what's being reported. However, this past Monday, it was a special call because 2 weeks ago, Reverend Dunkley and our 5 regional directors have met, and just 2 pastors, local pastors, have met with Christian pastors in Las Vegas. And now, we have had a lot of ACLC work and over the many 20 to 30 years. But these pastors, Christian pastors, are in the realm of their thinking or connecting with us in heart, that they have either received the blessing already and sharing the blessing with their congregation, or they have not received the blessing, but they have come to understand and know who true parents are, like to the fullness of what we understand as unificationists. Reverend Dunkley, as you know his character, he is straight to the point. He is honest. He doesn't like to hide things, and he doesn't want to beat around the bush. And so these pastors, also, there are a bunch of pastors, but the 5 of them who were there were also the same pastors who came to Japan and Korea with us at this time back in May, end of April. And so these guys are really in it. They understand who true parents are. Of course, to a certain degree, but more than many other pastors that we have come across in the recent times. And so from that experience 2 weeks ago, Reverend Dunkley shares this message last Monday, in which I want to be able to convey the heart of it. So, yeah. My mother has been doing a lot of ACLC work, 30 years. She came here as a missionary, and that was her mission. And still to this day, her passion for ACLC has not dwindled. But I am challenged at times. Growing up, seeing my mom invest into this, and even now being a pastor myself, and see her continually investing, I sometimes struggle with, like, okay, you've been doing so much, but, and I feel guilty saying this, but where is the result? And I know Ohio also has done ACLC work for many, many years. But, of course, I don't think anyone here is satisfied with how much we're able to accomplish. And it's not to point fingers at anybody, that, especially for those who have been doing ACLC, thank you for working on this and really understanding a part of Father and Mother's dream for America and really kicking it off and going through with it year after year, day after day. But, it is a struggle, especially amongst the young people. As a second generation born and raised in the unificationist community, Jesus was not somebody that was stressed or taught so much in Sunday school, in our upbringing. Our relationship, or when I say our, blessed children, generally our relationship with Jesus is one that is all up in here, intellectual. Jesus was someone who came 2,000 years ago. He sacrificed his life for the world. He understood God's vision. And the most famous story we hear about Jesus is that he appeared in front of True Father on Easter Sunday morning and called him to take on his mission. And that's about it. Up until recently, I have never actually read the 4 Gospels from the Bible, beginning to the end. Until recently. After I gave that message on Easter, and I was like, I need to read this. So, yeah, and then there's this testimony that Reverend Dunkley shared that evening, 8 p.m. It was actually a testimony from Pastor Joshua Holmes from LA. You know, he's been involved with ACLC work or YCLC work for a while, and like a brother or sister organization to ACLC, there is something called KCLC, which is for the Korean clergy out in South Korea. And I don't exactly know when this date was. They never said it. But there was a time when they were holding the blessing ceremony for the Korean pastors under the banner of KCLC. And then Pastor Joshua, he was part of the staff, and he was organizing and helping. But for some reason, which he did not say, he needed to take a breather and stepped outside onto the balcony of that venue. And he was just outside breathing and just like minding his own business by himself. And then suddenly, one of the groom comes out onto the balcony with him. And now this is a Korean pastor, and he's the groom. This blessing ceremony is for this guy. He's supposed to be in the venue receiving the blessing, but he comes out and he steps out mid-ceremony. Now, Pastor Joshua, of course, he's shocked. He's like, whoa, whoa, what are you doing? You're supposed to be in there. What's wrong? Why are you outside? And then this is what the pastor said. He was like, I don't know why. I feel like I can't praise Jesus in this blessing ceremony. And that testimony really puzzled Reverend Dunkley. Well, actually, it got him thinking, like, oh, well, is that important? Do we need to praise Jesus in a blessing ceremony? Or it's like let me think about that. And he was thinking about this, and then he went to this workshop in Las Vegas with these Christian brothers and sisters. And what was really coming to him, speaking to him, was that actually there is an answer to that question that pastor asked. Why do I feel like I cannot praise Jesus in this blessing ceremony? And the simple answer is because the blessing ceremony, or at least, for large part, those blessing ceremonies where True Mother is not the officiator at the cosmic blessing, is because we, as unificationists, are facilitating it. And so what does that mean? It means that we as unificationists, and myself included, have not really come to grasp with who Jesus is as the only begotten Son. Reverend Dunkley quoted Father that night. He said that Father said that Jesus saved my life. Without Jesus, there is no true Father. And logically, we've always known that, because Jesus came to give Father the mission that Jesus was unable to fulfill because his life was cut short. And for Mother, too, as the only begotten daughter, actually, without Jesus, that position has no purpose. Because it's the only begotten Son and the only begotten daughter together. As the true parents, they are able to bring about the dream that Heavenly Parent had from the beginning. And of course, we understand both Father and Mother stand on that Christian foundation. Coming from who? Jesus. Yes, Christian history may not be perfect. And like us, in not being able to fully understand true parents, and over time our understanding has been getting clear, the people, or Jesus' disciples at that time, in the early Christians, were also unaware or unable to fully grasp Jesus' essence. And so that's the start of Christianity. But there is something that in order for us to really understand deeply about who Jesus is, we cannot do it ourselves. And actually, for those who were Christians before joining our movement, I feel like maybe you guys have understand this much better than myself. Because you were born and raised up as Christians. You had this personal relationship with Jesus. And it's through the movement that you have a larger, wider lens on life, on the dream that God has, in which our true parents have come to be able to deliver through the marriage blessing and through who they are as Heavenly Parents representative. But I think oftentimes within our movement, and it's more of like a culture, it's not one person's fault, but it's the culture of us as unificationists has come to this point where it's more often recognized that true parents are up here and Jesus is right next to, below them, next in line. When I think, or what President Dunkley is sharing, is that actually in true parents' mind and thought, true parents are here and Jesus is right next to them. Of course, the value of true parents is undeniable. Actually, even true parents have the authority to bless Jesus. However, the value and the position that Jesus holds as the victorious only begotten Son is one that even Heavenly Parent cannot forget and let go. Father has come as the second coming, inheriting Jesus' mission. Jesus' position as the only begotten Son was never given away. And Mother, who stands as the position of the only begotten daughter, understanding Jesus, it gives me more depth of who true Mother is in my own relationship with her. And for me, the crazy thing is, my goodness, Mother has already been saying this. Mother has said, in this time, if this is the and this is Mother's words, and like in what she says, the order of education needs to be: first, understand the principles of creation, and then understand the essence of Jesus. It was right there, right next. And then understand the essence of true Mother as the only begotten daughter. Then you'll come to understand who true Father is. Then you'll understand true parents. And then you'll finally understand Heavenly Parent. For me, I have to confess, I was just able to quote Mother right now. It's in my mind, the order. But I never put much emphasis on understanding the essence of Jesus. If anything, I just relied on true Mother. And the true Mother, I'm waiting for you to tell me who Jesus is, or I'm waiting to hear more about Jesus. But Mother made it very clear for all of us. We need to understand Jesus. And yeah, Reverend Dunkley was saying that for all of us to put our attention and focus on Jesus is, don't get confused, it's not our community or as a faith movement going backwards. it's actually going to help us grow in our own understanding of who Heavenly Parent and true parents are, and our own way of being able to relate with our Christian brothers and sisters. We just celebrated America's 250th birthday yesterday. What a blessing. And what a blessing it is for us to be alive at this time. But our true parents are also asking us, reminding us that just like how we faithfully, whether we were Christian or not, gave up everything in our lives to be part of this movement, to join true parents, or some of us born into this movement, struggling through the challenges and the questions and the confusion that we may have had, but still made it here, believing and holding on to our faith. True parents, and especially true mother, has blessed us and called us, saying that we are the chosen people. She also said, Koreans are chosen people. Such a blessed nation or group of people being able to bring about the true parents into this world. But at the same time, Christians all around the world, Mother has also claimed to be the chosen people. And then we understand from True Parents' life course that they spent 40 plus years in America because they know God's dream. America is a pivotal country, key player in God's dream. Founded by Christianity and raised by Christians at the fundamental level. And so we are here as unificationists, chosen by God, living in this chosen nation amongst chosen Christians. One of the challenges I also felt or experienced with ACLC or with just our culture is that there is an invisible wall between Christianity and us. And I think it's through ACLC, they've been trying to figure out where this wall comes from. How can we break down this wall so that we can have this heart-to-heart connection with our brothers and sisters? And for Reverend Dunkley, he experienced it in Las Vegas. And what he experienced, he shared, was he needed to get humble. Because these Christian pastors, their love and relationship for Jesus is something he can learn and inherit from. As a unificationist, he says it's not enough for him to be able to read Father's words and understand Jesus just through the words. Because what the Christians have, and quite frankly do better than us, is they have spirit. I mean, I have visited various Christian churches too, and without a doubt, when you go to Baptist churches or Pentecostal churches, I mean, I don't want to copy their 5-6 hour long services, but they just go hard. They go really excited on the music and the spirit. I don't think they're planning a program to sing for 2, 3, 4 hours. I think it's just the spirit that just leads them to being like, okay, let's do one more song. Let's do one more song. And of course, against my Japanese DNA, it goes against every fiber, because I'm like, no, we have a timestamp, guys. Like we want to get lunch. Like we want to spend time with family. But undeniable, they have spirit. And the love and the praise that they give to Jesus, how beautiful it'll be if we can inherit that for Jesus, but also for true parents. Shout, let's be, while we're singing on stage or singing with Sunday services, people are just jumping around, excited, like, hallelujah, yes, thank you, Father, thank you, Mother, thank you, Jesus. You just saw a preview. Remember, I'm still Japanese, okay? Well, I am American. But my DNA, Chonoguk, yes. So we want to get into what it looks like to be a citizen of Chonoguk, a proud citizen. And just like Reverend Dunkley shared his testimony, I'm inviting everybody to also be humble. Let us be humble and see what Heavenly Parent has in stores for us. Because actually, for those who joined the prayer vigil, local prayer vigil on Tuesday when I lead, I also talked about this, actually. And one person asked the question, but if we start putting a lot of focus and emphasize and lifting up Jesus, wouldn't some members be confused about the direction that we're going, or what we're going to be putting ourselves into? And I want to thank that person for asking that question, because it's such a valid question. Because it's actually what happened in history. When Jesus came 2,000 years ago, the Israelites, they were faithful people, living according to the law and the prophecy that the prophets before their time gave them. But when Jesus came to proclaim the truth and to live up to that prophecy, they were confused. They were not able to get it, understand. True parents. Father said that he came to America as a doctor, as a firefighter, to help this nation. But this nation, although in the beginning, I have heard, in the beginning Christianity was receptive to him. But somewhere, after time, and I don't want to get into this territory, but we all know it's not really true parents. It was the leadership and some people who weren't able to fully understand what true parents were trying to do with Christianity started building a little rift. And then to the point that we are at this stage right now. We have not won Christianity. Christianity is not aware of who true parents are. And then they persecuted True Father. They persecuted you for many, many years. And even up until 3 years ago, Reverend Dunkley came around the nation holding the Blue Dragon Tour, sharing about what Mother has been sharing. And we know some of our brothers and sisters who used to come are still struggling with that idea of what True Mother came to share and are not present right now. So yeah, I'm sure people will be confused in the direction that we're going to go towards next with Reverend Dunkley at charge. Of course, we have a central figure that we want to follow and understand and listen to. But Reverend Dunkley also has asked each and every one of us to take it upon yourself to really pray, dig deep in True Parents' words on how you feel and how you can broaden your heart and your perspective as this movement of Family Federation is going to be shifting, transitioning in the near future. So my message here today is really just for all of us to be ready. And thank you. And to really, I don't want any one of you be caught off guard in a month or two that's to come. Because just as much as we have to be able to inherit from Christianity their love and praise for Jesus, of course, they have much to inherit from us too. The blessing, family salvation, true parents, God's dream. So it is not us. I'm not asking, or Reverend Dunkley's not asking all of us to start like hiding ourselves and diminishing ourselves and being at the feet of Christianity. But no, we can be bold and proud of who we are as unificationists and proclaim to them who we are. But at the same time, hold that space in your heart to be humble and to receive and listen to Christianity on how they love Jesus, because we need them and they need us. So where do we go from here? Well, Reverend Dunkley said because of that experience 2 weeks ago, he wants to see if he can host another workshop. He calls this the Rebirth 2.0. The Rebirth workshop was just the name prior to the Blue Dragon tour. So that was Rebirth 1.0. So he's calling it Rebirth 2.0, in which he wants to bring, of course, whatever to their schedule allows, the Christian pastors, the bishops who really understand who true parents are, and our young unificationist pastors. So of course, myself, I'm part of that included. By the end of July or maybe early August, I'm not 100% sure. Headquarters is still working that out. But we're going to be meeting at the Las Vegas Chunshimwon and having a workshop together. And I'm excited. I want to be able to bring back testimonies of things that I was able to realize that I have not known before or come to terms with before. And hopefully, everybody, all of us will have a chance. I don't know if it's going to be in the form of a workshop or, I don't know. I don't know what the future will hold. But, Reverend Dunkley, he was, one of the final points that he was mentioning in that Monday night call was that right now we're functioning as Family Federation and all the affiliate organizations, with ACLC being one of the affiliates. But he's saying, I think that's not where God is leading me at this point. I think Family Fed and ACLC needs to overlap, needs to be interlocked. And so, just to kind of prepare for the future, just think, what would that look like? I think it can look like our doors are open and we have a lot of Christians coming in or to our service. It can look like on a Sunday morning, this entire building is empty. And we're going to a Christian church because they have more space. Some of the churches. So, I want you, each and every one of you, to don't forget about your identity as God's son or daughter, true parents as children, as people who have received the blessing from true parents. But at the same time, have that willingness to be curious, to inherit from our Christian brothers and sisters. Because as scary or as unknown territory we may be going, if God is with us, if our Heavenly Parent is working through Reverend Dunkley as True Mother appointed him and trusts him, and for us to be able to go on that journey ourselves, to also believe that Heavenly Parent is walking on this journey with us, then there is no way God will lead us to the wrong place. It's just us and how much we can be able to really inherit the spirit of our Heavenly Parent. And so I want to, because I think it's important that we are rooted in true parents' words. This is Father's words back in 1983. This was titled Jesus and the Second Coming. And the context for Father's words here, he was really just proclaiming about who Jesus is and then who Father is as the second coming. And so to an audience of, by the way he was speaking, it was, I think, like VIPs, delegates. It was like one of the big halls gathering. It was not to unificationists. And so this is Father's, what he said about that. So the nation of Israel at that point was in a very difficult position. If they have wanted to fulfill the law and the prophets, they had to abandon the law of Moses as they understood it with the advent of Jesus. 2,000 years of tradition has been based on the Old Testament. It was very, very difficult for people just to wake up one morning, completely revise their interpretation of the law, and totally accept Jesus Christ as the Son of God. Those leaders who had their eyes riveted to the letter of the law simply missed the spirit of the law. We are fortunate and blessed. We have true parents' words. But where are we in not missing the spirit of true parents' words? That's what I wanted everyone to reflect on. And Mother have already been saying that she wants to bring us to the point in where we are leading with both spirit and truth. The truth that we have is precious. It's important. But truth alone is limiting. Even true parents' words alone is limiting. We need the Spirit. And the Spirit alone is limiting. Actually, the Spirit alone, people will think you're crazy. And with truth alone, people will think you're judgmental. But even though that might be the outcome of just separate, when they come together in harmony, in unison, then we can experience Heavenly Parents in our daily lives, in every cell of our body, all 3 trillion of them. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, I think about the future, right? So I tell myself, okay, Yasu, I gave this sermon, so what's next week going to look like? It's probably going to look like the same as the usual services. I have to say, this is my honest sharing, being vulnerable. I have to say that even though I'm preaching about this and sharing about this, I am still scared to see what can I do to make a change in a week's time. I don't have the courage right now to be go out to a Christian church and be like, hey, can you teach me the Bible? Can you teach me about your personal relationship with Jesus or whatnot? I mean, why not? Why not? I need to take it to the prayer room and ask myself, why not? Because I think, it's how I kind of grew up with, but I know I need to change. Right now, I am really relying on the workshop that's to happen. But obviously, the questions why not is asking me, don't wait for the workshop. Start going ahead right now. So I'll I don't know. I think I'm sharing my mind right now. Being given the truth, true parents' words, and then yeah, expired, yeah, the Spirit is telling me to go, and then things calm down, I don't know. I know Pastor Yasu said this, but I know it really resonates with my heart, but gotta go out. Jeez. When the leader moves, when the leader grows, the community can grow. I am put on the spotlight right now. But I'll come to you guys for support. Let me just say that. And okay, so maybe one thing I want to tell my wife. I think there might be more meetings scheduled with Christian pastors, but I will not take our precious meeting time away. I'll make sure to schedule our time so that it does not take family time away. And this is also, part of what we can offer to the world. Really practicing family values and not sacrificing our families for what we think is mission, because our family is also mission. Well, actually, it's not really even a mission. We're not even in the era of mission. This is our destiny. It's our birth given right from day one that Heavenly Parent wanted us to live in His family. And our family members are lost and confused. So maybe I'll wrap up there. And then, yeah, I'll probably, like every week, I share about community activities. I will do my best to include something in there about me meeting with Christians and starting a relationship. Yeah. So yeah, thank you everybody for really taking this time to listen to what I had to share. And the future is bright. It's exciting. But let's hold hands, not get lost, and we can do it together. Thank you very much.